One way to find out. One way to find out if this is working. Let's see. Are we here? Come on. All right. We're here. Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be doing a live workshop where anybody can come in and use the equipment that we have here: microscope, multimeter, micro soldering iron, normal soldering iron, hot air station, power supply, microscope, and they can bring in their projects and get help, whether they're just trying to solder a header on an Arduino, whether they are trying to micro solder a connector, or just kind of use a microscope or a hot air station for the first time and just get an idea how to use it. They can come in and ask our staff questions, including, actually, Erica, where'd you? Okay, Erica ran away. She's smart. So that's about that. We're going to get started today, and yeah, I'll give you a better view of the whole office. Also, that's an L. Okay. This should be something. So, yeah, I got a bunch of junk on my desk. So, have my real estate cup over here, just to give everybody. Actually, no, this is my financial investment advice cup. My office is kind of a clusterfuck. Let's see. Note to self: replace HDMI connector on Sony camcorder. Look. Remember I got that HDMI when he moved it back? That.
Oh, no.
I know.
That's a full-size one, though. That's
yeah. Have you seen try and open that thing? Sony actually sells it. All right, so we can start letting people in.
Are these yours?
I have no idea.
These are really skinny Paco ones.
Are those tweezers in good condition?
I just refurbished them.
They're probably mine if they needed refurbishing.
Everything needed refurbishing. I just did all of them.
Hello.
Alex. Hello. Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Shoot, would we be able this is last minute. Take bikes out, bring large green air filter in. I realize, my apologies, bad timing on that. Here, I'll help you. Take bike out and bring large green air filter in. Sorry, excuse me. Vroom. Hi. Make some more room in here. Alex. Hi. Looks like a parking lot. I approve.
What does Copac fix?
Nothing. That's exactly what I asked.
He's kind of like the Arkansas, you know what. So, could you bring in the green air filter?
Yeah.
Unplugged. That's my COVID destroyer.
Really?
That's my COVID destroyer. All right. All right, so welcome. What do you have?
So I don't have like a Macbook or anything, but I did bring like my guitar that needed soldering.
Let's see. Pickup?
It's like the input jack, the jack. I pretty much know already like how to connect it. It's just can I put it here?
Yeah, sure.
I never used a solder before.
Oh, I want to find out. Paul has brought the anti-COVID machine. All right. Uh-oh. Anti-COVID machine. All right. Okay, let's see.
Online, it was telling me like one is like alive and then the other one is like ground or something like
Do you know which one's the live and which one's the ground?
I know it when I connect it to the amp. I have a little amp over there. I think it's the blue one goes to the right, the blue one goes to this one, and the other one goes to this one.
All right. So first thing you're going to need is something that holds this up. Do I have a gravity device? A gravity device that I can clamp this with. grab. All right. Oh, have a seat. You put the guitar on the desk. I'm going to get you something to hold this with. You're a good little anti-COVID machine.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you too. What's your name?
Anthony.
Oh, nice to meet
I
you.
watch the YouTube videos like every now and then.
Oh, very cool. So I want to if the wires are long enough that we can put this out here, I'm going to have something that holds that little jack, because if you're soldering on that while you're trying to hold it, you need one hand for solder, one hand for iron, and one hand to hold it. But you only have two, which puts you at a disadvantage. Also, these wires look like they're a little bit on the rusted side. So what I would do is I would kind of cut this off a little and see if under it you have wire that's a little shinier or in better condition. In this case, it doesn't look like cutting off gets you much better wire. So this is still workable. It's just if you see wire that looks like that it isn't really particularly shiny, you want to kind of cut it off. You see the difference between the wire that's up here and the wire that you got down there? Yeah. Let's see if I can put it in Microscope. Is this the one that's on screen? There we go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this does not look as good as the... Wait a sec. Is this a Barlow lens?
Yes.
Oh, damn it. It's still... Okay, first thing I gotta do is get this into where it's focused. Can you kick an L on the dick? He was supposed to do this before we started. Can you tighten this? That's what I thought too. Can you,
You have it focused?
Yeah, it's focused.
You gotta reach the other side.
Oh.
I can't get through your hand.
Somebody kick an L on the dick. What was he doing for the past half hour? Okay. There we go. Okay. So, see the wire over here on the left? Looks a little bit nicer than the wire on the right. So we'll just chop that off. It's not going to make... Because you don't need that much wire to solder into that connector. Let's see what we got on this one. This one looks a little better. You see the wire over here just looks a little bit nicer than the wire all the way on the right. Okay, so let's see your plug. I mean the jack, not the plug. Sorry.
Should I plug it into it so I could just make sure it's going to work properly?
Yeah, but I would just keep the volume down on that because it's going to explode. So this is what's going to hold it for you. I'm not used to blue and yellow in color codes, so you're going to have to figure out which one goes where before we solder it. I can't help that it's the additional list. Twitch sucks. Yeah, Twitch is a shit platform, so it's unfortunate, but... Let's see what this looks like here. Switch?
Try to play the string. Yeah, it's the blue one on the left.
I don't hear it. Oh, now I do. Yeah, it's just intermittent. Okay, so you said blue one's on the left?
Yeah.
Left is blue here?
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing you got to do is you have to get rid of what's in that. So you have to get rid of the solder that's already in there. So attach it to this little helping hands thing you got over here.
Should I take the jack out?
Yeah. Just but turn the amp down first so you don't kill your amp. So put it in here so that you got something you can work with. There you go. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is remove the solder from each of these holes so that it's nice and clean. Now I need to get an iron that's not a micro pencil because this is a micro pencil and that's not really going to help much. Here we go. So you got different types of... have you ever used you said you never used a soldering iron before?
No, the first time.
Okay, so first things first, anytime we're using this thing, we turn on this. This is a fume extractor, and you put this near there so you don't inhale any of this, of the solder fumes and all that shit. So you have the station over here, and that's going to heat up this over here. This is a Hacko, so it makes a very annoying beep at you when it's not plugged in. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is get the solder out of the hole that's in there right now. See, but it's going to have to stick to something. This is wick. So I'm going to show you on one hole and then you do the other one. So see how it kind of sticks to the wick, how the wick is turning colors?
Oh, yeah.
As I move it by, and you can also see that there's an old wire that's in there as well. Let me move this thing over. This thing. And you can also use something like this tweezer as you're heating it to pull the old wire out of the jack. So you don't want any of the old wire in this jack. Make sense?
Yeah.
Try to do that for the one on the left. You're going to hold it by this. Obviously, don't touch this thing. If you touch that, you'll burn yourself. And no fun. You should look at your super chats. I can't. I'm teaching. I can't. I'm teaching. I'm sorry.
So you said I needed like the wick or something?
Yeah, so this over here. So first things first, you're going to cut off the portion that over here that's used. So see how this section, the brown section is the section that's going to be able to absorb solder.
Yeah.
Also, when you're done with this, you just throw it right over here. No, just put it right back on there. And you're just going to cut that off, and you can toss it on the side of your desk. That's going to help you get rid of the solder that's stuck in there. What?
What happened to the battery?
EM3EV is not as liquid resistant as I thought. I'll leave it at that.
All the cells stuck?
No, the cells are fine. The BMSs and the BMS switch all got water on them, so I got new BMSs on the way. But yeah, you know how they say the soft cases are not liquid resistant, but the hard ones are? It's actually the opposite. With EM3EV batteries, the hard ones have zero liquid resistance whatsoever. Like a drop of water, it's destroyed. But the soft case ones, not only are they Captain taped all around, but they also have that heat shrink, that giant piece of heat shrink, and that's actually liquid resistant. So their old style soft cells are really liquid resistant. The hard cell batteries from EM3EV, again, like humidity and liquid damage. So I'm going to wind up recaulking them myself, but that's a project for later.
Couldn't get it as like nice like as yours.
Okay, so let me see how you're doing it. I want to see how you're doing.
Put it on top, right?
Yep, and press hard.
That's hard.
And slide. You keep the iron in place, but slide the wick.
Gotcha.
There you go. See how clean that is?
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
good.
Okay, now, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. What's Lewis? Have a seat. I'll be with you in a sec. Now what you're going to do is, this is the hard part, you got to kind of arrange this on the desk so that you can get those wires in there. Now you're going to want to arrange this wire in, and here's a little trick. You'll make a better connection if you get this as far in there as you can. 1 second. probably getting. It's probably my car's fucking extended warranty. Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jeremiah Gordon. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. I saw your post on Craigslist about looking for temporary housing.
Take it out of the shithole. Okay, so when you put the wire in, you're not just going to want to solder it like this to where, yeah, I might as well put it on the microscope so some people can see. Let me switch it over so I can. This is, okay. So there are two ways that people will typically solder something like this. Now, like this, where, oh my god, I hate Barlow lenses. They suck so bad. Let me just take this Barlow lens off. You have to have the microscope like 6 feet above the desk for this to work. One moment. Get this shit out of here. Okay, here we go. These suck. The microscope doesn't go high enough for me to actually...
Well, when you're not working on a logic board, yeah.
Okay.
But nobody can work close without it.
So now when you solder this, you don't want to solder it like this. Because if you solder it in like this, then it'll keep moving back and forth at this inflection point and the copper can break. What you want to do is you want to get just a little bit of the rubber in there, move this around so that if somebody were to pull the wire, they're kind of moving around the rubber section more than the copper section. So this way, the rubber part of the wire, that strain relief section of it, is kind of a little bit in there as well. It'll make a better joint. So I'm going to do one, and then you're going to do the one right next to it.
Cool.
So I'll do this one, you do the next one. That's what Ricky Began always used to tell me at Avatar Studios. He always used to brag, my XLR cables are still here 30 years later. Now, you don't want the iron to touch this is the hard part in the beginning. You don't want the iron to touch just this, and you don't want it to touch just this. You need the iron to heat simultaneously the wire and this binding post. So it has to heat the wire and the binding post. You can't just put solder here or over here. Both of them need to be warm or you won't get anything done. Also, you're allowed to use flux. Flux makes everything better. So, the more the merrier. Just don't tell Paul I said that. He'll get mad. Hopefully you'll have steadier hands than me, which will make it a little bit easier. But now I'm going to have my iron in between both of those. Really, this solder is way too tiny for what I'm doing here. This is really kind of laptop repair solder. I'm going to see if I could find something thicker. For guitar post, this is really kind of awkward. Hello, Erica. Okay, wait for it to cool off for a moment. And now, there's still a little bit of a void because I'm using solder that's ridiculously tiny. So I'm going to try to get you a bigger one for this. But I want to see what you do with the left side. Try doing exactly that with the left side here. This is big enough that you don't need to look in a microscope to do it. And when you... Alright, so what do you have? What are you looking to learn? What can we help you with?
I bought Macbook because that's especially like from everything from Windows, like HP, Dell motherboards today.
Okay, what's wrong with this?
So I went to R2 facilities in PA and grabbed laptops.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's broken, I could scrap it, but I'd rather keep it and repair it. So, like this one right here. Actually, this one. I had got it on a power supply, right? And then I messed up. And I put the what's like the max one. I just turned the knob up all the way. Ended up sparking some more. So
You said something sparking. I see. So what's the history of this? What was the original problem? Where are you at now?
I think white screen will turn on.
Oh God, 2915. You're giving me nightmares. 2011 GPU. Okay, let's start with there. Let's not start with this shit.
So,
Okay, what's wrong with this?
I think this one has no display.
There's a chime.
I forgot.
Oh, I want to find out.
He's like 4 out of 5. You have a charger for it?
Yeah, so I use these as chargers. This is a power supply. So this will allow me to see how much power the board is taking. It helps me to troubleshoot.
Sure that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
So this is going to tell me how much power the board is taking. It gives me more troubleshooting information to work with. Yeah, sure, by all means. I'm recording you. You can record me. Okay, what you're doing here is, watch. So you can't be touching that. You don't touch the solder to the iron and then have the iron touch that. It always has to be flowing at the same time. So anytime that the iron is touching your joint, the solder should be flowing into that joint. And the second thing here, let me just put that on screen so somebody can see, maybe learn from it. The second thing here is you have the rubber a little bit too far in there. So,
Too much rubber.
1 second. This little microscope camera actually froze. You cheap piece of magnesium shit. 1 sec. I'm gonna reboot this microscope camera because I want to show you on the screen.
I put it too into the. I put the rubber too inside.
You put that a little too far in there. Yeah, these microscope cameras are shit. Hello, Erica.
Have something you can fix.
Your taped together phone?
Yeah.
Sorry, no work on Samsung. Okay, here we go. So, the first thing is, I appreciate this is a little too far through, so this is not making any contact. You see? The copper is not making any contact with this. So what I was doing is you wrap it around like this.
Oh, okay.
Give it a nice wrap around and tweeze it against this thing here. 1 sec, I just knocked it off of the holder. My hands are not steady at all anymore. I keep knocking it off. So see, now the whole idea is you want this to actually work even if it isn't soldered. In an ideal world, you would not have to solder this and it would still make a good connection. That's the type of that's what you're looking for. I want this to work even if it's not soldered on there. And the soldering is just a bonus. So you don't put the solder on the iron like this and then take this and push it over there. Because you see the smoke? That smoke is flux. And flux is what allows the solder to flow. So when you do that, the flux is essentially burning itself away, and then when the solder goes on there, it's going to be like you're putting a pile of sludge on there. It's not actually doing anything. In order for the solder to stick to that, you need to make all of this hot enough that it melts the solder itself. So the wire, as well as the post, need to both be, these both need to be hot enough that when you're touching the solder to it, it's just naturally melting in and filling the space in there. So what I want you to do is put the iron in between this post and that copper, and then shove this solder in the point right over there. So this is going to look like shit because my hand looks like I have Parkinson's. But so this, what you're going to do is you're going to take the solder and put it like right over here. See the point? That it's right. See how this point is right in between the wire and the post?
Yeah.
And you're going to be heating both. So you want to also simultaneously figure out a way to put the iron someplace where you're simultaneously touching the post and the wire. If you put the solder on the iron and then try to touch it to that, everything is going to come out looking like shit. Okay, so you said this Air has no video, right? So first things first, let's figure out if it is no video or no brain. So I have an Air screen over here. But don't plug it in just yet. We're gonna let's plug in this. So plug in this Air screen. Is this 11-inch or a 13-inch Air? I should know that off the top of my head. This is, yeah, this is an 11-inch. So this is going to fit very awkwardly. But the screen will still fit. The screen is the exact same pin out. Okay, so first thing, here, just turn this thing off. Okay, plug that in there. You're going to have to hold it. Or you have to find a way to put it on the desk, like move the stuff around the desk in a manner where you can kind of have the screen on the desk at the same time as the board. He's not used to the microscope, so he's not going to be able to get it in the camera for you. Yep. Watch. It says you don't have a lot of. You're not giving yourself clearance, so you need to give the. Let's move this over here. You have to. You shouldn't care if the board is comfortable. You should care if you're comfortable. So everything on the desk needs to be catered to you. So you can, if you turn the screen like this, then you'll be able to easily slide this in there. But the desk is not here to look nice. The desk is here to be catered to you. So anytime you're working at a workstation of any type, move everything around the workstation so that you can be comfortable. Now the screen fits on there just fine, and we can see what it's doing. And also we want to test it on this side, not that side, because that side's where the sleep sensor is. So the magnet in the screen will put it to sleep if we have it over there. So let's plug it in and see what we get. Okay, so it chimed. You heard that?
Yeah.
That means it has a brain. So typically, when you have no image, the first thing you want to do is figure out, is it no image or no brain? Because they're different problems that require different troubleshooting. So that means, that little chime means the CPU's turning on, means it has a brain. That's a good thing. The next up is we want to see if it has an image. Now, there's two different power rails for the screen. There's 3 volts to turn the screen on, and there's backlight. So I'm going to check and see if we have the 3 volts for turning the screen on, which is going to be on an inductor. I think it's this inductor. It said that actually, never mind. Here you go. Look, you have a question mark folder. So you said this had no screen, but it does. Do you have the original screen?
No.
I mean, you have a question mark folder, so it does have a screen. So this doesn't look like you have a problem with this board. I'm guessing you most likely just had a bad screen.
I know for sure that this board it turns on to a blank white screen.
That needs a new GPU. That's a.
So you know that off the bat?
This is a 2915. Either that or that muxing thing. Yeah, this is. Actually, the LCD connector looks like it may have some shorts in it. So let me take a look and just see what's going on over there. One sec. Is your microscope 3 or 1? One way to find out. 3. Yeah, yours is 1. Okay. So let's take a look at this LCD connector you have here. Okay, never mind. That's just dirt in the connector. It looks like somebody tried to solder an LCD connector on here at one point because they thought, okay, here you go. Here you go. So, oh, yeah. One sec. I'm going to kick an L in the dick so hard later. Oh. Set up the stations, my balls. Okay, here we go. So this is where 3 volts is going to go over to the screen. So this is 3 volts over here. This little chip so this chip over here is going to turn on when it's told to by the mux. It's going to send 3 volts over here, and then that inductor is then going to send 3 volts over to the screen. But how's your screen going to get 3 volts? I mean, what is this? That don't look like no inductor to me. So we need to. Now, how's your soldering on a 1 to 10, surface mount? 0, 10, 5, 2. Okay. So obviously we need to replace this with another one. So first thing we need to do is wick these pads, make them nice and clean and flat, add solder to it, and then add an inductor over here. And you can take that off of a donor board. I'll just find the donor board for you. Donor board, donor board, donor board. Actually, I don't have a donor for that in this office because that board is like Satan to me, but I have one outside. Can I shoot it now with a BB gun?
Sure. What is he doing?
Every microscope's out of focus, man.
Oh, really?
Where is that thing? Here we go. Does this shoot?
Yeah, the safety's on.
Not anymore. Okay. This is a cool little toy.
Yeah.
I need the 2915 board. 2915 white screen. You ready for Zalma, Paul? Yeah. No, the inductor's missing for 3 volts to it. This may actually be an easy one. It's in my pile. Of course it's an easy one. That was very kind.
Did you find it? No, man.
Where are the... Do we not have any 2915 donors?
All the way on top. Drill.
Top shelf.
Why do you find drill yet?
I see 3115.
Oh, wait, I was thinking 31.
2915. I know. No reason to have this piece of shit. The inductor that's in for 3 volts to the screen is ripped off. He has white screen. It may actually not be a GPU.
That's not on another board?
I just don't want to open the board yourself.
2011 that's broken?
Yeah, give me a 2011. Any 2011.
This used to turn on, and then I think the GPU was in, so somewhere else.
Here we are. Bada bing.
Oh, we actually take out the RAM.
Who needs RAM?
See, it's actually good RAM, 8 gigs.
It is. What's Oi My RAM? Oi My? Oi My. Okay. Got a machine. Alright, here we go. So you're going to steal the inductor off of this. This is a totally destroyed piece of shit that has no chance of working again, but it's going to have a good inductor. And you're going to put it onto yours. So this is the inductor that we're talking about here. Let's see, this board is this? Yeah. So you're going to have to steal from that, put it on there.
What can I get off eBay that's like decent enough to do this for me?
What do you mean, like soldering or microscope or everything? I would, honestly, in the beginning, magnifying glass. Yeah, the M-scope makes something called the SE400. I got that for $175. I'm not sure if they have used ones available from time for cheaper, but it's much cheaper than this one, and it's pretty good. Let me just get the air screen off the desk for a moment, so that we're gonna now remember, make space for this. This is your donor, and you're gonna have to switch over to this soldering iron because this micro pencil does not have enough thermal mass to be able to do this. Okay, let me see what this looks like here. What do you got? Well, one way to find out.
I feel like I couldn't get it exactly in between. It was like hard to aim there.
Okay, so this is not. Yeah, there's not enough. You need way more. So I need. This is partially my fault because I have laptop solder that you're using. You're using laptop size solder for this, so you're gonna have to add. So it's gonna be like a. Yeah, you're gonna be adding a bunch because this is what I'm using for soldering on cell phones and micro chipsets, not large guitar wires. So you're gonna be adding like a lot over here. So I want you to. You're gonna. So this is what you have right now. You would need to do something like this. Here, so touch the wire and the post, and you see how I'm just drowning that shit in there? Because, and again, you wouldn't be using this if you had the right size of solder, but I don't have the right size because I'm mostly suited to laptop, like tiny stuff.
Yeah, I had to use way more.
Give it a sec to cool. Now, do you have the assembly that this goes into so that it's... Let's see if it works. If this works, I may honestly cut that off and have you do it again because I want to see you do it from scratch. Okay. How much experience do you have using a hot air station?
PS5 HDMI ports.
So you've used a hot air station before?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I typically like to do is I like to have my donor over here and the machine I'm putting it onto in front of me, rather than, because if you take that inductor off and you have that inductor. If you take that inductor off and you have this, you're like, okay, now I have to move this machine over here and then take that and put it under here and then arrange it perfectly. Whatever you had in your hand is going to wind up in the 6th dimension. You're never going to find it again. Also, when it comes to accuracy, you don't need accuracy to rip shit off. You need accuracy to put something on. So I usually have this off to the side, and then I'll have my board exactly where I need it in the microscope, where I can see pretty exactly what I'm doing. So this is the board that you're...
13. I'll leave it.
Okay, this is the board that you're fixing.
Yes.
Okay, so I would have this, you position this exactly where you need it to be so that it's already set up in the microscope. And there we go. Okay. Because you need accuracy to put a component on. You don't really need accuracy to rip it off. Again, this is broken and it's a donor. Who gives a shit if you rip something off right next to it? On this, you need accuracy. You need accuracy to put everything on properly. But you don't need accuracy when you're destroying the donor. And the next is going to be, you're going to need the larger soldering iron, remember, not this one. Because this is not going to have enough thermal mass to remove that. I hate this little... They put that there so you can't change the temperature when you're working in China in some crappy child labor factory. So, this is... God forbid he raised the temperature 20 degrees so that he can go home half an hour early. So where did I put the other iron that plugs in there?
This thing right here.
Ah, yes. Here we go. This thing. Okay.
Where you put the air out usually, like?
I honestly usually have this almost that high, at like 80% or so. Yeah, and you're going to turn that on by tapping the button on the side of the station. And it automatically will turn itself off when you put it in here. It'll sense that...
Oh, this one's fancy. She's alive.
Let's see. Yeah, let's let people hear this. We have a working guitar in. Okay, that's a nice working pickup. Now, what I'd like to do, with your permission, is cut that off and have you do it from scratch. Because it's not going to be the same unless you do it yourself. You don't get the fun of it. Also, I got to turn on his fume extractor over here. All right, so turn off the amp. Okay. Okay, I'm only going to undo one of them, not both of them. Okay, wick this off. I'll give you a nice clean hole to work with. That sounded, oh my god. I can't believe I just said that on fucking camera. Somebody's gonna clip that shit. Alright, you'll have a nice clean opening to work. That's not actually making it any better. You get the idea. Okay. Hey, nice. Okay, you're going to strip your wire, put it in there, make a loop, Remember, it should be such a good connection that you don't even really need to solder it for it to work. The solder is just the icing on the cake. And then, also another way you could work with this solder, since it's a little too small for our application, you could fold it over a couple of times like this. So then, and twist. So now you kind of have a thicker solder to work with. See? So if you twist it over a few times like this, now you kind of have a bigger chunk. All right, let's see what you got.
Where's the solder wick?
Solder wick. That's a good question. Here, steal mine.
You want me to grab you anything to eat or drink?
I like water. Anybody else show up in the front? Very interesting.
You have alcohol?
Alcohol.
Oh, shoot.
One sec. There you go. It's hiding. You can move it to just move it to where you're comfortable with it.
Let me know when you're hungry. I'll go grab you food.
Thank you.
If you want like a tuna wrap or something.
That's very kind of you. But I'm not hungry right now.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, you have nuts somewhere. You should know.
I know I have nuts, Erica. I think I put them on top of Paul's desk and then I forgot about them. I know.
So when I put it on,
First thing you got to do is you have to add some solder to those pads. And that resistor to the left looks like it got touched with the wick. So you see over... So see this? See how there's that side is a little depleted compared to this side? When you wicked, you touch this a little bit, which is totally fine as long as you refill that solder with your iron. Just don't forget about that. But yeah, add some solder to this side and that is good wicking. I appreciate it, but I don't want another peanut.
Huh? It's not a peanut.
Here, take my nuts.
It's a cashew.
That's more than enough. Yeah, you're good. I would just twist the wire a little before you put it in there. And try to get used to looking in the microscope. I know it sucks, but looking at the screen is incredibly painful compared to looking in the microscope. What? See, the strands are split. You got to twist it really, really good. Yeah, don't look at the screen. Looking at the screen will fuck your eyes up. Look through the microscope. And you can adjust it. Watch, like move it for yourself. Move this to where it's comfortable for you. So adjust all of that, like adjust the width of it, and move it to where it's comfortable for you, not for me. Also, don't focus with these things. Focus with this. That's zoom. So you got zoom closer to you, focus further from you. Oh, since you unfocused the eyepieces, let me just get the oculus focused so that everything matches.
Yeah.
So
My
first,
eyes not really fit in the,
first I get this, I get this. Okay, this is now matched. So now move this apart to whatever your eyes are, because I don't know how close your eyes are together. My eyes are way too close together. You do this, and adjust, but don't turn these, because this is for use this to adjust your focus. This for your zoom, which 99% of the time 7x is good enough. You don't really need to turn that at all. But do this so that it fits your eyes. What are you working on, young lady? Looks like you're working on eating a peanut.
Yeah.
You need a project.
I'm eating these nuts.
That's inappropriate, Eric. That's inappropriate. Good. Now add a tiny bit of flux, and then you're going to hot air your inductor from that board to this board. And we'll see if we still have a white screen.
you said you just try to use a little bit of rubber, right? Like not too much.
Yeah, so you want to get a little bit of the rubber in there so that you want the rubber to kind of melt into the hole a little bit. So this way, the idea behind it to understand is that when somebody's tugging on the wire, I want them to be tugging on the strain relief on the rubber. I don't want them to be tugging on the copper. I want the rubber to kind of take a little bit of the damage. Now, nobody's ever going to be really pulling on that because it's a wire that's inside of a guitar string, but it's just a good habit to have to do with everything. Your inductor went to the 6th dimension, didn't it?
Nah, just the fourth.
Okay.
This part. You just turn the air down, or you keep it.
Nope. You could do this even with the air higher. So you're going to hold it with the tweezer, allow it to melt into place before you let go of the tweezer, and then you take your air away. You could do that with 100% air. You could do that with 120 psi if you wanted, and the component wouldn't blow away, as long as you take your air away once it's melted. All right, now lower your inductor, push it on the board, and then let go. Okay, now it's take your air away for a moment. Now you see how it's not really fully soldered in there and fully on the board. The surface tension of those two solder pads is going to pull it where it wants to be. It's kind of like quicksand. So add a little bit of flux to that, and this is the magic of surface tension. No matter how hard this station blows on that component, it will never come off the board. And I'll show you. I'm going to up the air to 100 right now. Now, seriously, go. Now, I want you to see what I mean. Now, take the hot air and blow it on that component, and start from a little further away first, and then slowly get closer to it. And you'll notice that it never blows off the board. Surface tension, it's magic.
Yep, definitely is.
Watch, you'll see. A little bit closer. Let it flow in a. Okay, you just got on. Yeah, that usually doesn't happen. That happens because I'm recording.
Make it look easy.
Actually, wait a second. Is that half the oh, your inductor snapped in two.
No, that.
Oh, okay. It looked like it snapped in two. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. I feel when I was a kid, I had this. My parents had this like fake toilet seat for me, and they said, "No, just try. Sit on this. Trust us, it'll work." And it was a cheap piece of shit because my mom was a cheapskate and it cracked and I fell in the toilet. I feel like I just did that to you. I didn't trust you using the toilet again for 2 years. I said, fuck that. I'd rather shit in my diaper or on the floor. I feel horrible. I feel horrible. All right, let's try this. Yeah, I'm gonna. Let me show you once, and then you'll do it.
I'm gonna take it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's change seats for a moment. Okay. Watch. So surface tension. Let me just put this in. I'm gonna put. Okay, I may have used a little too. Your flux flows way easier than mine. Mine's almost to the end of it, so you have to use a lot of force. Okay. Now, first thing is, I don't want to grab this component from the bottom of it. I want to grab from the top of it, because I don't want the tweezer legs to prevent me from tapping this all the way on the board. So, now once I see it's partially melted, I pull away. But after it's partially melted and I pull away, it's kind of like charming a snake. You want it to kind of dance in a place. So I'm not going to go all the way up to it. It's slowly in there. It's like charming a snake. And then you kind of get it into the middle, right like that. See? Full PSI. But it's not about the temperature or the air flow. It's about how far away you're at, what angle you're at. Because even with the air all the way up, you can get that exactly in a place, just like that. So, let's try it. And remember, don't grab the component at the bottom, because if you do that, you're not going to be able to put it on the board. You'll think it's on the board, because see if the tweezer leg, see how the tweezer leg on the screen is going past the ends of the component? How am I going to place it on the board? It's always going to be hovering, and that's why it's blowing away. Now, if you place the component on the board, let's just move it up a little. If you grab the component from the top, now when I move it to the side, you see how you see how I'm pressing it on the board? But what you're doing, and this is what I did for about a good 2.5 years because nobody showed me, is I was trying to put the component on the board like this. How am I ever going to press it on there? Now, from this view, because it's 2-dimensional, not 3-dimensional, you think it's on there. And then when you let go of the tweezer, it blows away. That's because it was never on the board. You need to grab from the top of the component, not the bottom of it. And it'll become a habit eventually, but you grab it just from the top where you can barely see like this, and then when you can check yourself by turning it to the side, and see how I have all that component. So now when I'm pressing it on the board, it's on the board. And even if your hand does this, it doesn't matter. You'll get it on the board every single time. Now try it. And try it with the air all the way up, because if the air is all the way up and you're able to do it, that means you got the technique right. Lowering the air is a handicap for not placing it on the board properly, and you don't want a handicap. You want to be able to... Bam. I see cheating. Okay, let's see. So you want it... Keep this on here. So keep the iron. Don't be afraid to hold the iron on there. Don't like do this, that. No, hold, and then let go. And the thing is, the excess solder will get sucked up onto the tip. There's no such thing as putting too much solder, because if you put too much solder, it'll flow itself back onto here. Go for it. What's that? Crumb Classic? Cookies? Who got cookies? No. Oh, no cookie. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're going to put this where you can't reach, Erica. No cookie for you. Erica. No cookie. Explain to me why you deserve a cookie.
It's not perfect, but it'll work, right?
That'll work. But the way you can make it perfect is I want you to put flux on there and just try and snake charm it into place. Think of it like snake charming, like when you're moving that thing around. It's a dance. It really is a dance. It's a dance with the air. Okay, you can have a cookie.
You can have a cookie.
I can't have a cookie. I'm a fat ass. You can have a cookie.
No, you have a cookie.
I have a long way to go before I can have a guilt-free cookie.
How about if you have a little crumb over the cookie?
Okay, these look fucking amazing, honestly. Yeah.
You've had them before, they are.
Oh, these are good. Wow. Okay, this looks amazing. Thank you, whoever got this.
JP got them.
Which one should I get? Thank you, JP.
Chocolate one.
God bless you. What's this green one?
Green tea.
What's the red one?
Red velvet.
What's velvet?
Oh, you like chocolate?
I like velvet.
Okay, try it.
I take a velvet.
Try a little
Curse you,
bit.
cookie. It doesn't matter. That's Ethernet. A, it's plastic. The coil under it is just fine. And B, nobody fucking uses Ethernet anymore anyway. But mainly, that's their coil. Okay. Yeah, that's a little... You can do better than this. You can do better than that. I know you can do better. No tapping. Let it flow itself into place. Believe in the surface tension. I don't see any dancing. There we go. Yeah, okay, you got it. You got it. Bada bing. Good. Now let's see if we actually have any image on the screen. Just wait for it to cool off for a minute.
Here.
That's all the cookie I'm fit to eat today. It's closer than it was before, Thalanoth.
I feel like I use too much now, but it might work still.
Let's see what you got.
They don't look like as nice as yours.
Let me show you. Okay, this one. One sec, this piece of shit camera froze again. By the way, anybody watching, never buy a camera from HAYEAR. They're pieces of shit. They freeze constantly. This thing is boot looped 3 times. What the hell is wrong with Ethernet?
The image is good.
He's fine. Listen, image, Ethernet. Erica, stop you troll. Image or Ethernet? Which is your priority? Which do you want more? What, you want both? How greedy are you? So greedy. Okay, so the rubber isn't really going in there. But the issue that I think is you're having is that you have the wire a little too long. It's not that you put too much solder. It's that this thing is sticking out a little too much. You want to avoid that sticking out too much because then it turns into an antenna. You don't want the wire to become an antenna. So what you can do here is you can kind of cut the excess off. It's not a big deal to cut the excess off afterwards so that it doesn't act as an antenna. But I just cut the wire because I have a shaky hand and kind of ruined your work, so you have to do it again. Sorry. Yeah, let me start you from scratch. But yeah, you can cut the excess off at the end. It's not a big deal to cut the excess off. Where's the wick? I got some here. There, let me reattach that. Yoink, get that out of there. And keep this kind of short. You just want barely enough to be able to make a little loop in there. And the reason I like to keep the loop close in is so that it doesn't become, if the wire is too long, then it winds up becoming kind of like an antenna. We get this in there.
I'm gonna pick up cell phone conversations while I'm soloing.
Yeah, you don't want to pick up anybody's cell phone conversations. We're not the NSA. Or Facebook. I guess Facebook scares me more than the NSA now. Something like that. And then have it kind of wrapped around there. Move. Put your iron in there, and shove the solder in there. So remember, heat the pin. You can put as much flux as you want. Use the whole container if you'd like. Put the cookie on the scope. Okay. Now, you have an inductor on there? Good.
Yes.
Now you got to plug this in. And do you have any RAM and everything you need to plug this into a computer? You want to see if you get an image. Okay, I got to find a test setup. Be useful. Find a test setup for an A1286 from 2011.
Wait, what?
Go. A1286 2011 test setup. Screen, RAM. Yes, go. That is a screen, but no RAM. Erica, why are you always eating a cookie or a donut? You have a donut as well as a cookie? Where'd this donut come from? I thought you just had a cookie. Give me this. You can't have all this junk food. Give me this.
You can have it.
No, no cookie, no more donut. No matter where we are, what corner of the world, what we're doing, you always manage to find junk food. How is this possible? How does it always just magically appear? We're lobbying, you get, in upstate New York, you get a cookie.
Yeah.
We're traveling in downtown Florida, you get a cookie. We're close to the White Mountains in New Hampshire, you show up with a cookie. We're doing a soldering workshop, and you get a box of cookies.
Like shit. Okay, you don't want a donut.
I said you gave you a housing.
He gave me a housing, but no RAM. Are you left-handed or right-handed? Because you're pressing the soldering iron on top of the wire, but you're not heating this at the same time. You have to find a way to put that in there so that you're the iron's touching both at the same time. So let me show you. So instead of doing it like, I have to hit the button on there. Can you hold this for a sec? Lab 2. All right. If you have the iron over here, a moment. I mean, technically, you're going to heat the post through the copper, but that's not ideal. You want to have it somewhere where you're heating both. So let's say, let me just get this on camera for them so that they can see what I'm talking about. Okay. First, clean this up a little. So if I touch over here, see how there's a post over here? And then there's the wire here. Now, if I touch this and this, I can get the post and the wire at the same time. Try that. This is the post down here, and this is the wire up here. Try to touch both. Be cognizant of touching both at the same time, and then you'll see that when you put the solder in there, it's going to flow that much easier. Actually, before you do that, let me just ask Paul if he has a bigger size solder than this. Where's all this junk food coming from?
Someone sent it.
Someone stop letting it get to Erica.
Oh, it's so goddamn gonna have a baby.
Not before you're married, Dan. Do we have any larger solder?
You have the largest solder.
Damn. Okay.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, you could try that. Okay, this solder is actually bigger. This is mine. Not by a large margin, but let's see what you get.
You think there's one in the basement?
No. You love that little donut, don't you? Makes you very happy.
Krispy Kreme donuts are like little clouds of air.
Clouds of something. There you go. I feel your pain. If you push with the iron with pressure, it'll make your hand shake less. So with the iron, if you just push downwards, there you go. Now just run more solder while you're doing that. Run solder like a madman. There you go. Much better. Let me see what you got. What you did? Let's see. It's slightly void. You could add a little bit more solder, but this is a considerable improvement over your first one and your second one. This is much better. You got much better, and I didn't do shit for this one, so good, congratulations. But what you need now, just don't be afraid to jam this all the way in there, like, because this is all the excess is going to be on your iron, and you're not paying for this, so it doesn't matter. So just send as much as because if you use too little, when the flux that's inside there dries up, you'll start to get a brittle joint, and that's bad. If you use too much, then it'll just wind up in the iron, which you just clean off in that thing anyway. And so the negative consequences of using too little versus are much greater than the negative consequences of using too much. And push with your right hand. Yeah, your hand not being steady. There you go. You're done. You got enough. Yeah, that's more than enough. Your hand will be steadier when you're pushing on something. So, for instance, like here, I'll just try to show it on the desk camera with my hand. So, this is my hand trying to hold this knife steady, right? It's a joke. Like I can't do any work. It looks horrible. But if I push down on the desk, my hand is still moving, but what it's touched to is not moving. Like I'm still making good contact over there, even though this is all moving. So if you're trying to hover your hand right over something, it's going to be horrible. But if you push down on what you're pushing on, it'll make your hand much more. Get that shin bra off, Sonny. Either wear it right or get the. Either put this shit above your nose or take it off. You're fucking triggering me. All right, Sonny's here. Everybody say hello to Sonny.
I saw your Peloton video.
Rub your face.
Yeah.
You know each other.
No, I saw a YouTube video.
Oh, it's a small world. Okay, so that's not bad. Now, make the left one look a little nicer. And we'll close it up, and we'll see that it works. Yeah, put the left one under the microscope for me. Yes, I don't like seeing bare copper. It tells me that this is void. Yeah, so you want you put your iron somewhere here where it's going to touch each side. One sec. Yes. So find a place where your iron is going to be able to touch both the post and the wire at the same time, and add more soldering. And again, don't be shy. As long as your iron is making both of them hot, you can't get it wrong. If your iron is touching only the post or only the wire, then you can get it wrong. But as long as your iron is touching between both of them at the same time, the solder is going to flow exactly where it needs to flow.
I'm trying to fix the amp. How likely is it that I'm going to kill myself?
Not likely. Tube amp or solid state?
The solid state.
Not very likely.
Okay.
Sonny, you gain weight.
A bunch of amps in my garage. I bought some speakers. What are my e-bike batteries and that stuff? Really? I have a bunch of batteries. You have a bunch of batteries with me? It's a pouch battery.
I have batteries. I need a BMS. Those EM3EV batteries have no water resistance at all. It's pathetic.
You got small batteries, don't worry. Just charge it straight up. I want to try to fix it, but I probably want to kill myself. The battery
Oh, so be careful with that touching the board. You don't want the power thing. Erica's phone has tape on it.
That I take every day to get in.
Isn't that falling apart?
Yes. And just because of political shit with the governor and the mayor and all that, we can't get anything approved to replace it.
Where's the money to replace it?
I can imagine how much it's going to cost.
That's such a crumbling piece of shit.
Like when they first, what gets me is when they first made it, it cost X amount of money and it was done in 5 years. Now it's going to cost X times 10 and it's going to take 50 years to get it done.
No, when it was
We
that
have
tunnel,
so much more technology. Why can't we get it done faster?
more regulate. But back then, you also had the people that were just like sleeping on the rods above the Empire State Building and all that kind of crap. Like it was a different culture back then.
But they just got it done.
I know.
Just fix one of these. You really love these. These are real straight. That's why I play them
They're
first
so
class.
pretty.
Yeah, I have that amp I'm trying to fix.
You know why it kind of like changed
I
colors?
think I have the same amp.
Like it turned more. I think it's because I burned through the plastic.
Oh, when you burn the rubber, it's going to turn a little bit black. I don't particularly care about that. What I care about is that I can still see copper, which means you're being afraid to use too much solder. You have so much wire left that even if you completely destroy that, I'll be able to fix whatever you mess up. And you'll be able to as well. So I want to see you add an obnoxious amount of solder.
Hold it close to your hand.
Then you'll be then you'll be afraid that you're going to burn yourself as well.
Yeah.
You're a cookie monster. You know that? You are a cookie monster. The iron's not touching the post. There you go.
This is the Dutch wrong. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. The battery lasts forever.
Still see more wires.
Is it?
Yeah, I still see some wires.
Yeah, let me show you. What? Let's start it from scratch here. Yeah, let's cut that out. Sonny, how's your cat?
It's in the store.
I got it approved for an apartment in New Hampshire today, but I have to. They don't allow a kitty, so I have to either sneak the kitty in or have the kitty live at the store when I go back and forth between New Hampshire and New York.
They don't care.
They don't. They probably won't. The level of tyranny required to tell if I have a cat or not is considerably high. I don't think they're going to engage in that.
I think it's fine. The leads usually don't allow you to bring cat in, but it doesn't say anything about you buying a cat afterwards. Yeah.
Oreo and Paul would be reunited. Oreo really misses Paul, and I think Paul really misses Oreo. Yeah, that's a grab.
Good. I like it.
How much did you pay for that Peloton?
$300. Yeah. People send me death threats because I bought a Peloton. They think I paid full price for a Peloton.
Anybody who thinks you paid full price for a Peloton is how he has an IQ below room temperature.
Yeah. I bought it for $2 across the street. But it's good. I'm too cheap to pay for a subscription.
You know, you could run outside.
What? It's cold.
I know, free air conditioning.
No, I call out my friend who pays for the subscription. I just FaceTime him. Anytime you ride, just FaceTime me.
All right.
Have you tried other bikes? I wonder if Peloton really superior to other bikes. I don't know.
So, what I've seen on other people's review is the weight is a 45-pound weight. If you buy a cheaper bike, the weight is lighter. So the resistance is less. So it's not smooth. So I think that's what the resistance.
All right.
No,
No, what?
No.
no. Nobody works with price.
Because when I heard about the Peloton, I thought to myself, that's a
All right, go for it now.
bike would be more.
I want you to put your iron, touch this and this at the same time, like the wide end of the iron as well, because you see the iron has like a thin end, the wide end, thin end. Have the wide end touch this and this at the same time, and then you can put the solder in over here, on the left side. Try that. You have a white screen. Do you have a question mark folder? Hmm? Let's see. Come on, give me a question mark. Give me a question mark. Actually, hold down the option key. It's much faster that way.
I don't want to bring my hand there. I know those capacitors pose a lot of voltage, and I don't want to kill myself.
You want to fix the 2011 with it? Oh, it works. But you have a dead GPU. Yeah, you have lines through it. But look, you have something on the screen. That's more than you had when you came in.
Oh,
Congratulations.
You can use the debugs and then disable the GPU.
Yeah.
$20.
So,
Told me about, I had DM'd you about the diagnose the board. You said you could charge it,
Yeah.
cut it in half, and I think you said it's classified.
Yeah.
I seen it here. I'm like, oh. I think I get it.
hmm?
I think I get it.
You got it. But you're adding solder. You're doing this. Watch. You're adding a little bit, and then a little bit, and a little bit. You just want to like choke it right in there.
You have two pins in there, and then you flash the GPU, disable the GPU. It works for a good year or two. I have a couple of these running my printer.
But you're good. You look. Notice that you have no exposed copper.
Yeah.
So that's a joint that's respectable.
It's a good pattern.
I approve. Congratulations. Okay, now close this up. Yeah, you're done. Close it up. See that it works. Bang it around a little bit. Make sure that if you shake your guitar a little bit, that it stands up to that. That you can do this with it. You can wiggle the jack and it works. But
I put an 85-watt charger, test the motherboards.
that's good. Like that looks like what it should look like when you bought this. Congratulations. And I didn't do that one. You did that one.
Thank you, man. So if I disable the GPU back, it will work. That's good.
Yeah.
What?
Honestly, I have like 3 of these computers.
So it's just shorted. What? So just short the GPU?
No, it would just only use the dedicated GPU.
Oh,
It would
okay.
just use the onboard GPU, like a document example.
I'm surprised his GPU hasn't died yet.
Can I put it right now?
What?
Right now?
I don't know.
Can you imagine that after reattaching the inductor on the 2915, that it boots and it has an image but with lines on it?
No, of course. Did you clean the screen connector?
No,
Sometimes the screen connector does it.
I didn't even. I should.
Put a Q-tip on the screen connector.
Q-tip on the screen connector.
Yeah.
It was one of the donor. It would be funny if that machine that I took the inductor off of the board was actually a good board, but we assumed it was dead because of the screen, because they always are.
Possibly.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
Yeah, that's possible.
And the guy soldered his guitar amp thing. Fine. The first 3 sucked, and the 4th one was perfect. As is usual. I gave less than 12 hours of notice for this one. I'm going to give more notice so I get more people for the next ones. Because when 25 people showed up, that was too much.
Well, you had like.
That weekend was a horror show.
You're supposed to have 6.
Damn.
13.
Oh,
But most people that click the button don't actually sign up. I mean, most people who click the button don't actually show up. But last time, I only had like 10 people click the button and 25 people showed up.
That was a weekend.
Yeah, and that was also horrible because nobody was here.
I was thinking about using the iPad mini. My primary phone.
Like, no, people don't want to see me. They want to see you. They want to see you. They don't want to see me. I mean, like, what is this chick doing over here?
So somebody said you can flash a GPU, like using like a USB.
I've never done that before, but yeah, there's a way to do it. There's some way to flash it to disable the internal GPU, so that you can use it as a workable computer. This guy named DOS Dude came up with it.
It's like free software or paid.
I think it's like $20 or something. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I've honestly never done it. I just know it's common and a bunch of people do it.
Sounds worth it.
Hmm?
It sounds worth it. So it does.
What's up, Liz?
How are you?
Is your mic on?
Yep. I'll mute in a few. Almost done.
So how many people showed up?
2.
2.
Last time. I posted it with no notice.
Yeah.
I kind of did that on purpose because 25 people was a clusterfuck last time.
Yeah.
I can fit 3 at a time. But now I can post more of these because those cameras suck balls, by the way. The high airs,
They need
it boot loops.
What?
It freezes and then just dies, and then you have to unplug it and plug it in.
I've never had that issue with them. They've been working fine.
I think it needs a heatsink. Just maybe water damage.
What? Water damage?
Maybe water damage.
Humidity.
Humidity.
No.
Boot
They're
looping.
brand new. I'd never have a problem with this one.
But that's different. Mine's blue. Yours is a black camera. That's not the same one. Mine's
You have a fan, and you say it doesn't overheat.
yeah, and he has 2 fans in his camera. That's bullshit, Paul. Look at this.
This was
1, 2.
This was to clear my lenses when I had to wear a mask at work.
Sure. That camera never freezes. You just so happen to have 2 computer fans pointing at the. So that made sense when we had to wear masks to have that thing on.
That worked perfectly.
That's your flathead screwdriver?
Yeah, I just
I think I have a screwdriver kit in there. If you want to use, in that I fix it bin. That thing. That's a.
Not try this yet?
Well, what's wrong with that? You said no image, but when we plugged in, it had an image. Ah, what's wrong with that one? Figure out what's wrong with it, and then we'll go about troubleshooting.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
Hey, Thomas says to check the screen cable and JTAG connector.
JTAG, you think he means?
Yeah.
Well, one of those doesn't have a screen cable because that's my screen, and the other one that he has, he doesn't have a screen. It's just my screen where it's working. And he said his didn't work with the screen, but that one there is no screen because he brought it just body by itself. Well, so let's clean it up a little so it looks nicer since we were using it as a soldering surface. So this is a microfiber cloth and this is a lens cleaner. So you can just kind of you clean off the body of the guitar. Somebody called you a professional AirTags researcher.
Yeah. Somebody figure out how to reprogram the AirTag. You know how when you do NFC on the AirTag, it takes you to the Apple's website?
Uh-huh.
Some guy figure out how to redirect that to any website.
Give us a wave, Erica. Erica's sleeping.
What? I'm not sleeping.
You're doing this.
No, I'm texting people. I don't have a microphone. I don't have a mic. What? Where's yours? Oh no. What? 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 Oh! What? This is a repair stream, not listen to me chat. Oh, and I still gotta read chat. How do you chat, look over here, and then have the screen over here? Like, this is what I don't understand. Oh. I know. Look at him. He's over here. I don't want... I destroyed that cookie. Oh. I know. Not used to this. Okay, hold up. Okay. So, you want to know what kind of... It's a behinger? Behinger? I think that's how you say it.
Can the guitar repair tech guy play Come As You Are by Nirvana? I don't know. Can you?
Nah, I can't play that. I'm not that good yet.
What kind of guitar is that?
This is
That's
like
a violin.
this guitar is like it's like a Strat replica, but it's something like it's pretty cheap. It's my first guitar ever.
Wow.
Lying around my house.
It's Behringer, something like that. Yeah, Behringer, that thing. Someone said play Despacito.
Despacito?
Yeah. Do you know that song?
Nah, I don't know.
Do you know Señorita?
Señorita. I'm still kind of new to playing.
I don't. What else is there, you guys? Favorite dessert? Probably cheesecake. That's probably my favorite. Overall. Walk into a guitar center with that thing and start playing Stairway. You talking about Stairway to Heaven, yeah? I know. B ringer. Okay, okay. I don't know why Twitch is broken, you guys. I have no idea. That's not my channel. And even if it was my channel, I wouldn't know how to fix it. Woohoo!
Erica, you gotta read the comments.
I am. Someone said, let's get Lewis canceled. What is your most controversial political opinion? My most controversial political opinion, I will keep to myself because I'm just a
Girlfriend
person
should not
with
have
a
cookies.
headset. Huh?
Girlfriend should not have cookies right there, I said.
Why? 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 Why no cookies? I work for
Cancel.
Oreo. Huh? Ooh, look at that. Aww. Hey, are you okay if people swing by the store to say hi to you? And he said, okay, that's the reply.
Last time that happened, that guy wanted to take me home with him to upstate New York.
What?
Steve and Kevin, I want to kick him in the nuts so
What
bad.
the
for
hell
that.
happened?
They actually said, because I was going to leave, and they said, come on, can you just talk to this one person? And I
Oh
do.
my goodness.
Literally
Okay.
wanted to take you and I to his home in upstate New York. He was creating a museum.
A
I swear to
museum? What
Christ,
kind of museum?
The museum where you and I have our skin on the walls. Either way.
He doesn't want my skin. He wants your skin. Nobody wants my skin. They just want a piece of you. A piece of... Sure. You know, actually, now that I think about it, I do have a bunch of your clothes that I need to donate. Do you think we should auction it off, put it on eBay? Erica, what is Lewis's most favorite cat?
Clinton.
Oreo.
Clinton.
He says Clinton.
What's the parking fines out here? What? What's the parking fines? What?
Parking fine. You drove?
What?
Oh, you poor soul.
Yeah.
Park.
I took the subway.
You want to meet other YouTubers? Okay, hold up. Sonny, come over here. We need a celebrity over here.
That's you.
No, that's not me. That's you.
That's the place
He did a really good Peloton stream, by the way.
Yeah.
Sonny, come over here. Okay, I think okay. So we got a other YouTuber here.
I'm dyslexic. I can't read as fast. Yo, how does Lewis read this?
I don't know. I think his eyes are just, you
I
know,
hope the cat's
it
not
must be
watching.
like gold play button worthy, like
Yeah. You
thing.
never answer your chat.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because I'm not like, I don't have a gold play button. I'm not even close to a silver.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cookies, Steve.
I know. Did Sonny grow his hair? Yeah, Sonny, what is the secret to growing your hair so long? Like, your hair grew a whole bunch.
I don't know. I just have naturally curly hair.
Yeah, but what's your diet? Like, do you eat a lot of seaweed or something?
No cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers, really?
Yeah, I've been trying to cut down. Have you not seen my Peloton?
I saw it, but you know what? I'm worried about you, Sonny. I feel like you want to be like Nick Cotto Avocado or something, the Asian version of it. Who's that? Don't look him up. No, it's this guy who used to be like really like cute and like good looking and slim, and he just kind of ballooned up bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, like, yeah, his YouTube money is probably like huge, but
No, I'm working out on my Peloton twice a day, every day. Yeah,
ah,
I'm trying to get my money worth it, you know?
why don't you do some workout videos, like working out with Sonny or something like
I
that?
don't know what to do.
Like, you just do what you do. If you know, you'll lose weight, other people lose weight with you.
On the Peloton,
Body by
my
Sonny.
underwears.
In your underwear.
See that?
Yeah, I think it would be good.
Yeah, I'm not.
Wear some Speedos or something. I think YouTube wouldn't mind that.
It's time for this to come to an end, Derek.
It is? Oh, man.
This is tape,
Yeah, it's tape.
but it's not cracked.
No, it is cracked. I cracked it here. Now it's cracked it
Switch,
here.
Erica?
What?
Switch.
Oh.
All right, that's it for today. So the last one of these that I did, I announced too far in advance, and I gave people too much notice, which had 25 people show up, which was a bit more than I could do. So this time, I didn't give much advance notice, and 2 people showed up. So I kind of get an idea of how much advance notice I need to give so that I am not overwhelmed with people, but also get more people to show up. If you're interested, there is a Meetup link in the description down below. And again, anybody's welcome to show up to these. They are free. We will show you how to work on this stuff, and maybe you'll be able to make some of your stuff work again. I'm going to be announcing a couple of these for next week, and a couple for the weeks after that.
Hello, Lewis.
Whoa.
And almost everybody will be welcome. See you all in the next video. Bye now.